I believe your microphone.
Now, it wasn't you. Try it again, though.
I don't ever touch the buttons.
My whole
They
thing.
do upstairs for me.
I know the whole thing was off and it's on now.
All right.
Try again.
Take two.
And take two.
Take two. I've got my easy look.
Nope.
My easy.
Take three.
Take three. I've got my easy Monday look on this off the rails Friday.
There we go.
And I only got this jacket because it looked so good on you.
Isn't it a great one? Really love that.
I stole the look.
That's good.
I
You
stole
should,
the look.
and I'm glad you did.
We are the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, and Sportsnet Plus. Derek Brandeo, Jake the Snake Schultz, our buddy Sammy McKee, Justin Bourne with you for the next hour. In a couple of minutes, we'll welcome in Doug MacLean for a little bit more of Off the Rails Friday. We will talk about the Edmonton Oilers closing out their conference final versus the Dallas Stars. Really didn't look at all, JB, like Dallas had any interest out of the gate here to extend this series. And a lot of storylines, including the one that many people are talking about today, Jake Oettinger getting pulled. 2 goals on 2 shots, calls the timeout, looks like he's heading back to the net.
What happened there?
And Pete DeBoer gives him the ultimate Mike Keenan hook.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I got to tell you, though, everyone's, making a big deal out of it. And a lot of the big deal was in the way it happened, right? He was going back in the net, so it wasn't very well communicated to him. Yeah, but hey, their back was against the wall. They couldn't lose this game. If a guy shows that he's not ready to go in the opening couple minutes, maybe you don't play him as much. That has to include your goalie, does it not?
You know what? I am
What's wrong with
1,000% with you on this.
We all agree.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to come in here.
Crap. 2-on-2.
Hey,
Seen enough.
Didn't have a good start. You weren't good enough. And the one thing that people, they should really think about big picture is he is one of 19 other guys that did not show up to play here. Right. To hang this completely on Jake Oettinger, on getting pulled or not pulled, is just wrong. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, and this includes Jake Oettinger, and it's not any different than what we deal with on a daily basis with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's like you want to just pin this on Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner or just 1 or 2 more individuals on. No, the team wasn't good enough to beat the Edmonton Oilers last night. The team was not good enough.
No, and hey, Casey DeSmith was a .915 save percentage this year and almost 30 starts. He was a great goaltender, so you didn't exactly go to a bum. I do think it was made 10 times worse by DeBoer after the game, not just being like, hey, look, and explaining where. Do we have DeBoer's comment? Is it too early in the show to play DeBoer talking about Oettinger?
No.
Okay.
I think it's in there, Derek. If we could play that.
Oh.
What language was that?
Hold on, let's start over. Let's start the clip over.
And you know what? I didn't take that lightly, and I didn't blame it all on Jake. But the reality is if you go back to last year's playoffs, he's lost 6 to 7 games to Edmonton, and we gave up 2 shots on 2 goals in an elimination game. So, it was partly to spark our team and wake them up, and partly, knowing that, status quo had not been working, and that's a pretty big sample size.
He's like, yeah, he's lost 6 to 7 to the Oilers. By the way, these 2 teams may play each other next year in the playoffs, and the head coach just said, our guy can't beat him. The guy we gave an 8-year deal, we don't think he's good enough to beat Edmonton. So I didn't hate pulling him after 2 goals, but you just say...
Too much detail.
Too much detail.
Back the truck up.
Just be like...
He backed it up over top.
He could have come out and been like, look, didn't think he was ready. Boys needed a spark. Back against the wall. We were desperate.
Yeah.
Jake's a great goalie. We would have loved it. He just didn't have a great start for us that game.
I mean, I think there's a lot of talk about the Edmonton Oilers last night were just completely undeniable.
They were undeniable. Great word.
The start of that first period, it was just like, Simmer was talking about it. One team was jumping, and one team was just waiting for bad things to happen, and they were all over them. It was just a unbelievable start, and Dallas does have their push. They come back a little bit in that game, but then, Connor does otherworldly things in the breakaway. But, you can talk about as much as you want about Dallas and pulling the goalie or whatever. Last night was just about the Oilers being way better and on a mission.
They beat 3 good teams like nothing.
Yeah, really good teams. They're on a mission.
Just to go back to before we get to Doug MacLean, and I'll throw this. I think he's listening right now, Doug. But for Peter DeBoer to make those comments, those additional comments about my guy can't beat this team, you almost wonder if he kind of had an idea of whether or not he'd be back, or if he is back, would he have a feeling of Jake Oettinger being back?
He's like, I don't think we're both coming back.
Yeah, exactly. I know one of us has got to go here.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. All right. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365 as we welcome in Doug MacLean on a Friday, former NHL president, GM, head coach, author, blah, blah, blah.
Do you guys think my schedule revolves around the times you do these shows?
Well, listen,
I get a call today. I'm on at 3. I'm on at 4 o'clock. I get a call today at noon. Can I do 4 o'clock? Seriously. But anyway,
I know there's a few people.
But listen, I have to get something off my plate.
Oh,
first.
no.
It's very important. I don't. Oh, no. And I'll do DeBoer after. But listen, I don't get a lot of celebrity events like you guys do, but I was a celebrity at an event this week with the Mount Allison Mounties hockey team had me as their guest celebrity at their golf tournament. Okay. It's a famous maritime university, great hockey program. You may know a guy by the name of Scott McCain. He's the chairman of McCain Foods. Well, he didn't make the team. He got cut, but he still goes to the hockey parties, He owns the St. John. He did play senior hockey after in Florenceville because McCain's owned the team and he didn't have to make that team. But anyway, he's a great guy and he owns the St. John Sea Dogs. But I had a great event with the guys. Best ball. I hit the ball great. They were terrific guys. Jack Drover was the famous coach of Mount Allison. As I said to Jack, you're the only guy I know that missed the playoffs 11 years in a row, and you got promoted to be the athletic director. So anyway, it was a fun day, a fun event. And I just wanted to do a call out because they are all avid listeners of the Doug MacLean 30-minute weeks of this show.
Okay,
Shout
listen.
Mount Allison.
I don't know if Sam told you, but our show's just down to an hour, and you just killed 50 minutes of it. Okay, so let's
listen. Feel free to knock me out of the box anytime.
No. We're not that desperate. Okay. I don't know whether you want to just start with the series in general, or get to the Peter DeBoer Oettinger exchange or lack of one. I don't know what you want to call it or describe it, but where do you want to go with this series?
I'm blown away with Edmonton after game 2 of the LA series as to how well they played. And, they've made, they've been that good throughout, the series, and they win this series in 5 games. So now they're very rested. They're wired up. I think they're going to be a tough out for Florida. And look, with all due respect to the way Florida's played, this team looks really focused. Their defense, it was underrated and have played exceptionally well. McDavid and Draisaitl are on a mission. Hyman was absolutely terrific. Skinner maybe have had one of the best rebounds in a long time. So they're going to be tough to beat. But Dallas, seriously, what was that? 5-on-5, they couldn't score a goal. Yeah. 5-on-5, you're blaming the goalie when you couldn't score. What are they? How many even strength goals did they have in this series? Come on. And I don't get the calling out. I don't get it. And I like Peter. He's with his 5th NHL team. He's Florida, New Jersey, San Jose, Vegas, Dallas. you don't want to mess this one up. This is a great job in the NHL and a good team. But I didn't like it a little bit.
Is there any world where you see DeBoer and Jake Oettinger together starting next season? Or is this kind of fork in the road time for one of them?
I really think Jimmy Nill's got a tough decision to make here. I don't know what he thought of the coaching throughout the series. And I didn't analyze the coaching, to be quite honest, but Jimmy Nill's got a big decision to make. This is too good a team that all of a sudden is the cupboard is starting to look a little bare because they've made some trades and moved picks. They've got a veteran team, but a lot of guys in the prime of their career. They've got to win. This team has got to win in the next year or two. And when you're this close and thinking they're a contender, and then to have this happen, and look, Oettinger wasn't good. He was not good. But, either was Jamie Benn, and either were like a number of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like a number of guys.
Is it fair to ask Jamie Benn to act like a guy in the prime of his career?
No, it's not. I would have liked to have seen Jamie Benn grab somebody.
Mm-hmm.
He's a tough guy. I would have liked to have seen him just show a little bite like that.
Well,
because that's the way
Mac,
he's been.
When I saw Bouchard go after Hintz at his ankle, at his foot, and they did nothing about it, that was the first sign I said to myself, they're done. Dallas is done.
And you know what? I thought the same thing. And I know Jamie Benn is a heart and soul guy and a leader. I just didn't see, and I know he's a veteran, and I know you get tired of it. But I thought he could have taken a stand with a couple of guys as well as some other guys. But anyway, look, I didn't like it. I think if I'm the goalie, I'm coming in and saying, it may be me or him next year, boss.
Yeah, that's tough. That's going to be a tough one to sort out for them. So part of, what put them away, obviously McDavid, Draisaitl, you mentioned so dangerous on the other side of things. I'm watching McDavid last night, and they put up a stat during the game that he has multi-point games in over 50% of the playoff games he's played. Like 55% of the playoff games he's in, he's had multiple points in those games. He gets keyed on, Mac. Like before the game, they're drawing up a plan, how to stop this guy. He's still doing this. How does he compare to Gretzky, for those Oilers teams or whoever were the best guys, years ago?
So when I'm watching him with the breakaway goal and watching what he did there to basically end the game.
Freak.
Like, seriously, where have you seen that? Where have you seen that? And all of a sudden he is gone. And then with pressure on him, makes that great move on the goaltender. Like, that's not a bad goal.
No.
I mean, that's a great play. I've been watching him pretty close in this series, guys, and it's jumped into my mind on numerous occasions that he may be the best ever. He may be the best pure talented player I've ever seen in my lifetime. And that's what, look, I love Wayne Gretzky. You love all the superstars. I didn't coach that many of them. I coached some good players, but not a lot of the Gretzky types or the McDavid types. But he may be the best ever.
Yeah.
And, I've never seen anybody that can do so much and has got the fire. As I said to you guys months ago, he wants to be on the cover of the Hockey News with the Stanley Cup. Austin Matthews wants to be on the cover of GQ. Big difference.
Okay. All right.
Sammy goes, here we
leave
go.
Austin out of this, all right?
I'm not. And now they want to get rid of Marner and Tavares. Who's going to replace the 38 goals and the 102 points? Do they think these guys grow on trees?
Stay on the rails.
Come on.
Stay on the rails here. You're watching and listening to Doug MacLean, former NHL president, GM, and head coach. I just want to get back to this.
One other thing I want to say.
Oh, God.
Go back to the Vegas series, because this is going to be real important in the next series. They pushed Vegas out of the building, guys. And Vegas are a tough team. And they're a big team. And Edmonton pushed them out of the building. Remember that.
Okay.
In the next series.
As we get ready, game 1 next Wednesday or sometime in July.
I think, and then wraps up in August.
I don't know, but it'll start.
You know what? I just catch them. If I happen to be going through, I catch the game. I don't try to plan it anymore. If they're there, they're there. You know, this is the only reason I watch games sometimes is because of this damn show.
Mac, if there was another team that was facing the Edmonton Oilers in this Stanley Cup Final, there's no question it would just be like, how do we stop Connor McDavid? But
how do you get them more than a 5-game series?
We are talking,
that's what they've done so far.
But we are talking about a team that 12 months ago shut down Connor McDavid. And while I can look at what just happened between Dallas and Edmonton, you know, they didn't have a Barkov. Now Barkov is up against Connor for the second consecutive time. And he can look back at the 12 months ago and said, I shut him down once, I could shut him down again.
And he's the guy. He's the man in Florida, boys.
Can I just step in and point out that McDavid had 11 points in the final last year? Just going to throw that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but how many at the end?
Last 3 games?
In the last 3 games.
7.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So say it was like for 5 games.
Okay.
Just
See,
throw that
Barney,
in as well.
that's why you're number 2 on the show. But you're not allowed to get a lot of credit for it.
Well, this is devastating for the Marner argument if we're going to talk about ends of series.
On Hockey Central at noon, Nick used to jump in and come with what you just did. You know, so
and he's still here. Sounds like a good game plan.
They wouldn't renew my contract, and they brought him back. Anyway, look, Barkov is special. He is so damn good. He is the engine of that team. Look, Kachuk, I love him. Bennett, all these guys. Jones, what about how he's played? I was worried about their blue line at Christmas, losing Montour, and all of a sudden Jones comes in a great trade. The McCullough kid, is that how you pronounce his name? Mikola?
I don't know.
Like, how do the Rangers let him go? How do the Rangers let him go? Like, what are they? Oh, anyway, let's not go there.
So,
but anyhow, I just think it's going to be a great, great series. And McDavid, you know how bad he wants it. Hyman, I wish Hyman was playing. That's a big loss for them. And Skinner, Bobrovsky. Skinner's got to keep going.
What are your early thoughts here that the Oilers have shown so much more than what they showed this time last year going into a final, that you are convinced that as tough and as mean Edmonton is, Florida is, that the Oilers do have the look now to fight fire with fire?
Kane, Perry, Frederick, Nurse.
Yeah.
That's some toughness, boys.
Yep.
That's some toughness and some meanness to go along with the toughness. So I think they're going to be okay in that area. I really do. I don't think they're going to get intimidated. I thought the Leafs wouldn't get intimidated as well. So I don't think intimidation beat them. Something beat them. But anyway, we don't have to go. The Leafs are done. So you guys can worry about the Leafs. John Shannon, I've been reading it. He's been on saying trade Matthews, trade Tavares, trade Marner, trade them all. Good God. Anyway.
He's got Bennett to the Leafs.
What? I'm saying that because I know that. I'm saying Shanny's, I'm quoting Shanny because I know he's always listening and he's always in, and he tells me the only reason he listens is because he's caught in traffic. So there's something for you in traffic, Shanny. Okay? Take that one and
Mac,
suck it up.
we are going to start the series Wednesday. We're not going to hear from you again until next Friday. So give us your thoughts on who's going to win the Stanley Cup.
I haven't been great in my picks. I really haven't, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I really like the coach in Edmonton. I think the guy is a great young coach. I think he handles himself well. I love how he handles the bench. I love how he keeps them calm. I'm saying Edmonton's going to win the series, and I say that with really mixed emotions, to be quite honest. I'd love to see a Canadian team win. And, you know, I just think that McDavid and Draisaitl and them, the calmness with the group, the focus with the group, they fixed their you know, they've had to fix some areas of their team, you know, their penalty killing. I think they've done a really good job. By the way,
yeah,
I had a call this week from a sports personality, wanting to know what my deal was on this show, because he's got an opportunity to do something similar to this, and wanted to know what my deal was on this show. And anyway, when I told him,
tell him we'll give him the same deal.
When I told him what the deal is, he said, I can't say every word he said, but it was, "Are you something crazy?" So anyway, I just wanted to get that out before.
Okay, first of all, every week you tell everybody watching and listening what your deal is. Every week. How does this guy not know?
Well, he phoned a buddy of mine and wanted to know it because, you know, he was shy to phone me. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've got, as Jill said, I got to put my earphones on because you're yelling all the time. She has to go to the other end of the cottage. The dog is scared because I'm yelling so much. Other than that, it's great.
Get a hockey question in, please, quickly.
I'm going to try. So you picking the Oilers. How crazy is it that Stu Skinner was not playing for the Oilers early in playoffs? Like, he was watching Pickard.
No worries.
I was going to say that. How did this happen?
Crazy.
That after game 2 against LA, Pickard had to come and save them. I mean, seriously. I mean, the team rallied around him too. And but I think it's really important how they've rallied around Skinner and how Skinner has stood tall. I mean, I can't imagine the mental toughness this kid, you know, I mean, what he's gone through to battle back, and it being an Edmonton, I believe he's an Edmonton kid. I just can't imagine the pressure and how he stood in there and battled like crazy. I mean, that paddle save the other night was like, he's just made some big plays, and their defense has been better. You know, Wallman, you know, the pickups have been good. You know, they've done a good job.
Mac, we were just kind of talking about, you know, Peter DeBoer, whether or not, you know, Dallas could be in a position to want to go in a different direction. Even if they did, we've seen some coaching vacancies get filled out. The most recent one, I think, Lane Lambert in Seattle here. I don't know how many even if they moved off of Peter DeBoer. I mean, I don't know how many coaches would be out there for a team that's supposed to win a Stanley Cup next year.
You know, Jimmy Nill is not a guy he's not a irrational guy. He'll make a really sound, solid decision. I can't speak for the owner there, you know, but I think Jimmy will think long and hard before he makes a change, in my opinion, just knowing him the way I know him. I think he'll really look at it, and he'll look at his options that are out there. And I've been sort of caught off guard with some of the hires. Lane Lambert, I mean, I don't get what Seattle's doing. I'm sorry. I can't figure that one out. Adam Foote, I love Adam Foote as a guy. I had him. He was my captain in Columbus. You know, he's walking in. I mean, imagine Adam Foote coaching the Swedish national team.
Is that your way of calling the Vancouver Canucks right now?
Well, that's how they play.
All right.
That's how they play a lot of nights. So, I mean, I wish him really well, and I hope I know he'll do. I know Adam will do a really good job.
What about a rookie general manager just hired in the Islanders and Patrick Waugh staying? That's kind of, it's not ideal, right? A new general manager coming in and having a high-profile coach like that, and
you know, look, I think Patrick will probably be very excited about working with Mathieu. Because I think Patrick always wants to be in charge, and I think he'll have a chance to be more in charge with Mathieu than he was with Lou. Would you agree?
That's a great observation. Absolutely, I would agree. I also I like Patrick Waugh. He may not be the best tactical coach, but I like that they have a guy who demands success. He demands results, and he'll call people out. It's tough to know exactly what goes on, but for the Islanders, I think that they're fine to stay with him, right?
Next, you're gonna tell me he reminds you of Al Arbor.
Yeah, he needs the mash.
You can't also disregard that they owe Patrick Waugh $7 million for the next 2 years.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that too.
I'd say that has a little bit of bearing on it. But you know what? Hey, it's not easy. It's not easy for Mathieu to come in as a rookie GM with an icon, and Patrick is from his playing days, and to me. I kind of like the way Patrick coaches. I really do. I think I like his fire. I like how he calls the team out when they're not going. I like his style, to be quite honest. I really do.
I don't know if you saw today, but Friedman tweeted that Kyle Palmieri signed a deal that was already verbally agreed to before Darche signed on. So they had agreed to this and Darche signed the contract or whatever. Is that not unusual to be like, hey, the old guy said they'd sign me, and then they just do the deal?
Well, the old guy, Lou, from what I've been told, is still a senior advisor there for the next 3 years.
Okay. Next 3 years.
For the next 3 years. That's what I've been told. The next 3 years, he's senior advisor there.
But he's not involved in the day-to-day operations, nor does the new general manager have to answer to him, is what I was told.
We'll see.
Hey, I'm just telling you what I heard.
All right.
Like I always used to say, I'm not, as my mother used to say, I'm not telling you it's the truth. I'm just telling you what I heard.
All right.
All right. Anything else you want off your chest, or we're good? Any more mentions for, minor hockey teams or who you want to try to get a job from?
No, I'm enjoying the playoffs. Carolina was a major disappointment. Florida was real good, but Carolina, how do you knock Carolina though? They get to the conference final, the last 3 years in a row, and they're pretty well positioned, but you're not going to beat the Florida Panthers with Aho, Jarvis, what's his name? The kid from Dallas.
Svechnikov or Stankoven.
And Blake as your top guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough sledding, So anyway, I got nothing else. Look, I've got friends coming over for a barbecue. It's a beautiful day in PEI here. We've got friends coming over. I've been out playing a little golf. My game has plateaued. It's plateaued. There's no denying that. And
so you stink right now. That's what you're telling us.
a great phrase.
I've got friends that I play with that are listening. Mike Roberts is one of my pros, and he's listening. I know he's on his way to PEI. He's tried to help my game. He keeps giving me tips, and I just look at him and with glossy eyes. I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's us. So anyway, with your segment on Fridays.
Other than that, everything's good, and I really appreciate you having me on. And as the Mount A guys said, they love my 30 minutes a week.
Beautiful.
We do too.
Yeah,
man.
we do too. All right, pal. Thanks for joining us, Doug MacLean. Everybody.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Mac.
Okay.
Okay.
Is he gone?
He's
Way.
never gone.
No, he's still there.
Yeah.
We got to do game time, I think.
I just wanted to quickly bring up this stat that I thought.
Okay.
Well, the going back to the final the next year streak, like the loser going back to next year, the 2024 Panthers did it. The 2009 Penguins did it, and the 85 Oilers have done it. The 84 Oilers did it. So there's the last
it's
lost,
trending.
and then come back and won.
What about Vegas? Did Vegas not do that?
Trending.
Vegas didn't. No, Vegas.
No,
it
it
wasn't the next year.
Yeah,
for years
there's
later.
a space in between.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, it feels.
Yeah. You know what I really
feels-
got out of the conference final too was how it was usually it's a big, huge celebration from teams, and
Both
it's
Florida and Edmonton were
and
like,
it was
right, all right.
it was like nothing. It was
Okay.
like Bill Daly at his worst again. Is like, does anybody like my trophy? Can anybody
Did you see the fans
touch
in Edmonton?
it? Don't touch it. it was just like another series. Like there's no excitement from both sides, Florida or Edmonton. It was like so business, just business as usual.
Did you guys see the fans in Edmonton when Connor touches the trophy? I tweeted it today, but they're all like, "No, what are you doing?"
Well, they didn't touch it last year.
That's right. So hold on.
Connor admitted that, right?
So Florida didn't touch it, lost the cup. Touched it the next year, won the cup. Edmonton didn't touch it last year, lost the cup. This year they touched it.
I love that we talk about this.
This is the most Canadian hockey thing
literally any
ever.
bearing on
Nothing. But I love that. I love that that's in the culture.
And you know what I love too? That Connor is like
aware of it.
Like here he's the most brilliant hockey player perhaps we've ever seen
serious
on the ice. And he's as lost on it as anyone else would be.
He's taking no chances.
Well, he's just like, I don't know. We tried it last year. It didn't work. We'll try it this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's really down to a science now.
Well, that's the best part. He's like, I'm leaving no stones unturned.
We're talking about a man physically touching a trophy or not because it might have a bearing on him winning a bigger trophy that he gets to touch.
I love the idea of the hockey gods up above watching, being like, are we going to give him the cup or not? He touched it. It's his this year.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I love it.
Insane.
One of the
and then
greatest things.
Barkov just straight. No, it's like the thing's got COVID, right?
But they did touch the year before and then won, didn't they?
I don't know. I
But
can't
you convince
remember.
yourself. I don't. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyways, game time.
Game time.
It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So I have a few things for you guys. We can just look at to win this series odds. The Oilers are favorites. They are minus 120 to win the series. The Florida Panthers are underdogs, obviously, at plus 100. The thing that I find more interesting, that if I was going to bet on this series, you can go to the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, and Connor McDavid is plus 110 to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. So you have to think that if the Oilers are going to beat
He won it last year, and they didn't win the cup.
Correct. So if they are going to beat the Florida Panthers and they win the Stanley Cup, Connor McDavid is obviously going to get the Conn Smythe.
Has he been that much better than Leon?
I mean, Leon is down the list at plus 800 for Barkov and Bobrovsky. I think
there's just
that
no
Leon bet is what you call value.
I think
there's
just no way they don't
just-
give it to Connor.
He's right.
They're
He's
a point
right.
apart. What if Leon has 5 more points than him in the final?
It won't.
I'd have to
First of all, it's highly unlikely that Leon's going to get those points without him.
It is.
And he is just, it's too emotional for the league
They have to
and him to
One
not
point
give
apart.
it to him.
1 point apart. Leon's going to win the MVP trophy this year. Won the Art Ross, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I like this.
We had him at plus 2,400 to win the Hart in what was that, December? And we said that's your value right there.
I'm so sick.
All
Why
I'm
did
telling you
bet that? I also said that
is
Jeff
this
Skinner
is where
was
your
gonna-
value is.
Said Jeff Skinner would score a playoff goal last night. I
Yeah,
didn't even
it's-
bet it. I didn't even
yesterday.
bet it. What an idiot. The last thing I want to bring up quickly, the series exact score, and people may think I'm nuts, but give me the Oilers to win in 5 at plus 500.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a mop job.
Yeah, that's not happening.
To the defending
That's not
champs,
happening.
Is it?
Skinner
v. Bobrovsky over in 5?
I'm telling you, boys.
On a couple
They're a
occasions,
runaway
on a
train.
couple occasions, I said Panthers aren't losing 2 in a row.
But I get Sam's point.
Runaway
The
train.
teams Edmonton beat were not jokes.
No. It's going to be a heck of a series.
Yeah.
Let me quickly pull up the Sportsnet stats page.
They
I saw
treated them
here.
like jokes.
Let me see. The Oilers, since their 0-2 deficit versus the Kings, they're 12-2 with 58 goals for, a plus 25 goal differential. Power play percentage is 34.3 and a save percentage of 914.
Someone tweeted the picture the Kings took after they were up 2-0 in that series. There's like 10 of them in a photo for some reason.
What?
And a couple of them are doing like the Skinner mustache.
Why?
They like lit him up or something like that.
Or no, I think it was maybe Danault. There was like Danault had a mustache
Is
and he
that
had
what it was?
scored.
Okay, whatever the mustache
Yeah.
aside, they're in like some celebratory picture that just didn't feel right for a team.
2-0. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a first round.
Yeah, they need to
Imagine
break
Byfield just
something.
cleared that puck.
Oh God, there's a lot of what ifs in the playoffs. Lots got to go right.
Imagine Joseph Walden letting a floater from the hash marks.
Even last night, it's like, is it Bork?
Oh my
Maverick
God!
Bork.
Like,
Good shift, buddy.
Buddy. You're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Your season is on the line. How about having a little bit more control with your stick to start the game? You just clip a guy and
brainless.
You're like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was Game Time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. When we come back, we'll do the Canada line.
The Canada line.
Yeah.
Just tee it up for us.
It's all people just want to talk with the Leafs. Sorry,
We've
guys.
got-
our audience cares.
We've got callers
Sorry.
Our audience is what
calling
it is.
in with
Yeah.
all their comments. I'm sure Sammy snuck in a few Leaf ones
They're
as
all.
well.
I mean, except for one or two,
Oh.
they're all Leafs.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Chuck Nelson here.
Please,
We
please,
might get some Chuck Nelson.
please stick around for more on our Canada line next on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. You know what I'm going to love best about an Edmonton, Florida Stanley Cup Final is?
No.
It's listening to the media cry how they have to get up at 5 a.m., go to Miami International, and then fly into Edmonton around midnight.
Yeah. You like that
Especially
wasn't
David-
it the longest possible match
Yes.
outside of Vancouver?
Especially David Amber, who has to do it in the middle seat.
Yeah. I do like getting DA worked up. So that is
I mean, in all honesty, if it's one team's up in Game 5, and
You-
it's like they got a chance to eliminate, everybody's like,
You-
please God, please
Oh, yeah,
God, please God,
finish
let me
this.
go home.
You couldn't ask for a harder two cities to get to.
Is that right? Yeah. And yeah,
What do you mean, like get
Travel.
like it's? You mean,
Well, there's
is there any direct flights?
no,
to those
I don't
places?
think there's any direct flights. And then I think the majority of them have to go to Miami, Toronto, Edmonton. I think
Oh.
that's
layover in North Dakota.
or Colorado, or
Oof.
it's not pleasant.
Yeah. Well, tough beans. looking for
I've been thinking about you when we're on the.
I will say though, like
God, they're gonna send us next year for that joke.
no, yeah, it's just I wish it didn't start next. Like, is the travel why it starts so late?
I don't know.
I will say,
June 4th to June 20th is what they
June
have,
4th
right?
to the 20th, if it goes 7. That's correct. So even after 2 games, they start to go 3 days between games.
I just
2 days
yeah,
off.
I guess with the building availability and other commitments,
travel.
right?
And the travel's long.
I guess,
Yeah.
but like these guys have been play 3 and 4 nights, 4 and 6 nights,
Yeah.
and now you're gonna play like 4 games in like 13 nights.
I guess counterpoint, guys a little more fresh. You get the best of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can Hyman's wrist heal in 20
But-
days for Game 7?
No.
Weather
please.
gets better, people start doing other things. It's kind of a
You forget about it a
double-edged
bit.
sword.
Well, hopefully the
Double
Oil
edge.
finish it
Yeah.
by the 12th.
All right, let's start with the Canada line. The Canada line is brought to you by Muskoka Bay Resort, a top 10 ranked Canadian course, part of the Freed Golf Network. Let's start with Hunter from Toronto.
I just want to briefly touch up on how phenomenal it is to watch Corey Perry every single night for the Oilers. Look, he just broke the record for the most goals on a playoff run for a 40-year-old. And you think about how many veterans have played deep into the playoffs. They're not always playing every night. Sometimes they need a night off, or sometimes they're in the press box. But this guy, who's 14 years removed from winning the Hart Trophy, is dragging his teammates into the fight. Do you know how awesome it must be to be McDavid and Draisaitl, who, like, trip and then pick up another 100 points for a season? They see this guy who's got wife and kids and mortgage and paying taxes, living an adult life, already closer to the second half of the life than the first, and he's still tying up his skates and says, boys, we're nosediving into the fight. God, man, if you're not even an Oilers fan, a Leaf fan, a hockey fan, this is the best story in the playoffs right now.
It is, and it's going to have to continue that way because he, in essence, is taking over Zach Hyman's job.
Yeah. You know, what's craziest, too, is it's not just that he's still playing in the Cup Final. So this is his 6th Stanley Cup Final, or perhaps his 7th. But it's all been the last, 6 years, 7 years, right? It's Dallas, Montreal, Tampa Bay, Edmonton.
Just
No.
Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence. This guy goes to 5 or 6 Cup Finals.
Yeah.
Not in a row. I'm sure there's a break in there.
And then 2008 was the team that he won with?
2007 was the Ducks team that won.
Yeah.
He was a kid.
I will say, what makes it hard is I don't know what happened in Chicago that this guy has just had to leave.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't really feel great about Jay Perry. And then he is kind of a scuzzy player in a way that you like.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it does put a damper on the let's celebrate the old graybeard who knows how to play the right way.
It's come full circle. Everybody's going to be looking for these type of players now. We're seeing another Stanley Cup Final where both sides have greasy players.
Mm-hmm.
And
Greasy's good.
Greasy is historically the best thing to win a Stanley Cup.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But look at the Dallas Stars. Okay.
Grease, too clean.
Mason Marchment,
He's greasy.
taking out Zach Hyman on not even a really questionable play. It was like a clip.
Player.
Yeah. But I like him, and any team would love him. But after that, what are you looking at? Blackwell on the 4th line, Sam Steele. It's like,
well, Ben's supposed to be doing that.
No, Ben's old.
Yeah, but so is Corey Perry.
But he can't do what Corey's doing, and he did not pick his spots like Corey Perry has, and there's no presence like Corey Perry.
Jason Robertson, some of those guys are.
Yeah, but after that, it's like Greasy's in, man, and it's in big time right now. Style.
Greasy.
On ice grease, good. Off ice grease, less good.
Let's do. Okay, we'll do Yvonne in Edmonton because she's another.
Hi, Sammy McKee. It's maybe your worst.
Do we need to
nightmare,
leave?
Yvonne. Anyways,
It's your worst nightmare.
we did it. We're going into the finals. Panthers are going down. Anyways, hope you guys are all right. You take care. Bye, Sammy.
Okay,
Hi, Sammy.
Yvonne, I'm here, and JB's here too.
Hi, Sammy McGee. Yeah, that's just what, I just had to play.
That's what the people are saying.
No, it's
People
just,
are saying,
listen,
hi, Sammy McKee.
that's what we have. That's what the total of our non-leaf calls were, those 2 calls. So I had to play Yvonne.
Yeah, she's a classic. She's
Maybe your worst nightmare is Yvonne.
All right. Let's go
Oh my God.
Let's go to JR in
this
Parkdale.
rules.
JR in Parkdale.
I just want to ask you and the Leafs Nation, how do you guys feel right now? How does everybody feel?
Bad.
Is there a point of contention right now where you guys might want to maybe look at another team, another franchise that actually wins games, wins playoff series, wins game 7s? Is there a point where you guys are just going to be like, we're done? Because when does it end? When does it end? Because if it doesn't end, I will continue to do what I do every playoff series that the Leafs make. But when does it end? I need to know.
Never.
And if it doesn't end, why do you guys do this to yourselves?
It never ends because you die, and then you pass it on to the next generation.
You can quit a franchise due to organizational mismanagement. You don't like there's some terrible person in, Donald Sterling's running the team. You can quit a franchise for certain reasons. You can't quit a franchise because they're not winning enough for you. You can't quit a franchise that makes 9 straight playoffs.
Every day of my life, I wish I didn't care.
You can't quit them.
The decade before, they missed all the playoffs.
You still can't quit for general badness. That's not I'm a New York Jets fan.
Those diehard Browns
You
fans.
mentioned mismanagement.
Yeah, but mismanagement, I mean breaking the law. I don't mean we signed the wrong players every year.
Yeah. Listen.
Breaking the law.
Yeah,
Breaking
sure.
the law.
You could leave the Chicago Blackhawks if you didn't like what happened with Bowman Quinn. You could leave them then. You can't leave the Ducks because
Yeah,
they're stinky.
You could leave the Clippers because they had like a raging racist owner. Like,
Sure.
there's lots of reasons to leave teams.
Right.
But like, I do, at some point, like, people in this industry were like, oh, when I started, like, oh, it'll jade you. You'll be jaded. You're going to get jaded. It's like, when's that going to happen?
Buddy, you're the most jaded person I know.
Like, I mean, to the point where, like, I don't care. Like, people have told me, like, you won't care anymore. You won't care anymore. It'll jade you. You won't care anymore. And it's
I
like,
see.
I wish I didn't care, JR, to answer your question.
A lot of people
And,
wish that.
to shout out my
Yes,
shout
that
out
you
my
didn't care.
great friend Michael Snyder. He once said to me that Leafs suck and then you die. So, I mean, that's kind of the way it goes.
For some people, it's an identity. Like when the Cubs won after 100 years, I'm sure some people were like, now what do we do?
Yeah, 100.
That's who I've been.
The Leafs have a good 40 to go before you get to that
They
point.
can tank it for 40 more.
Yeah.
And you'll
What do we
still be
do
there
now?
going, this is the one.
Or JR, it could just change next year and they can win.
Yeah, right, for sure. I'll
Sure
be there.
could.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure could.
I'll see that one coming. All right, let's mix in another classic. Let's go to Chuck Nelson before we go.
Oh, Chuck.
Chucky boy.
What's going on here, boys? Chuck Nelson. What is this Canada line? I'm here to talk about the Leafs. And the most important thing about the Toronto Maple Leafs right now is they need a new president. And I know who that new president should be. That's right. Your old guy here, Chuck Nelson. And I'm going to give you all my reasons. Number one, I'm handsome. Number two, obviously, as you know, I speak well. Number three, what I lack in hockey knowledge, I'm going to let Brad Treliving take over that part. What I lack in business knowledge, I got the MLSE board. They'll take care of that. I live in Toronto, and I don't need $7 million a year to run the Toronto Maple Leafs. I only need like $1 or $2 million. And most importantly, guys, I will gladly do your radio show once a week. Can you imagine having a weekly session with the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs? You guys, help me make this happen. Chuck Nelson for president of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So next June, Sammy gets to have that celebratory Stanley Cup dart. Let's make it happen and go see my movies.
His whole resume
Chuck.
is he's handsome and lives in Toronto.
I mean, God, you'd be crushing it. I don't know.
He's got two first names.
Oh, no. JB for sure.
If those are the only things.
But Chuck, sorry you're not going to get the chance, man. That title is dead.
Vacated.
A reminder to golf fans out there, Sportsnet and Muskoka Bay Resort have come together with an amazing contest. Text the word Muskoka to 59590 for your chance to golf at one of Canada's top 10 ranked courses within a night in a 3-bedroom villa for you and 3 friends. Just text the word Muskoka to 59590 for your chance to win. Visit sportsnet.ca/590 contest for more details. Standard rate and standard message and data rates may apply. There you go, boys.
What do you think they would do if I actually won?
I don't
think
know.
they would let me go?
Probably
like
not.
I have texted Muskoka to that.
You have.
I have. Do you think they would let me?
I'll do it.
Well, they won't even know it's you. So you could win, and then they'll find out and then take it away.
Okay.
But at least you'll know that you won.
I was going to say to you guys, it's like, all right, let's do our picks. It's like, we have 2 more shows until there's another hockey.
whole
3
next
more
show
shows
is
until there's
just
another hockey
Oh,
game.
yeah. So listen.
I can tell you Charlie Bourne picked the Oilers from the
Enjoy
start.
your weekend.
Really?
What are we suggesting our listeners and followers should do
Introduce
this
yourself to
weekend?
your spouses.
I'm going to watch
Cut
the
the grass?
Jays. I'm going to watch the Jays tomorrow.
Cut the grass.
Yeah, and that's it.
I got a match. I got to get to Scarborough. I'm going to play a match.
Oh,
5
yeah.
o'clock.
All right. Have a great weekend. We're back Monday. And I have no idea what we're going to tell you.
It'll be an easy Monday.
We have
Wear
no
that
idea. Our thanks to Off the Rails Friday, Doug MacLean. Never a disappointment. If you get a chance, give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you. Outside of that, I don't know.
Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend, everybody.